Hello, welcome to another edition of Issues with JIDE. Here we talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, terrorists descend on Nigeria, kidnap 477 in Kaduna, Borno. Now, in the course of the program, we take your questions, but first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and the ones based on the subject matter. I have joining me via Zoom the maestro himself, all the way from Abuja, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. Good to see you again, Biko.
Yeah, good to do this with you, Brian. And I say a big thank you to our viewers for the support at all times. And my prayer is that in our time, we'll see a happy Nigeria, and our children will be part of a prosperous and happy nation, Nigeria.
Amen to that. Now, let's talk about another issue that is ravaging or worrying Nigerians. More than 280 students were kidnapped from their elementary school in northern Nigeria early Thursday morning by unknown assailants on motorcycles. So if the numbers are confirmed, this could be an even bigger kidnapping event than the notorious 2014 raid by Boko Haram terrorists on a school in the Nigerian town of Chibok, which saw 276 girls taken from their dormitory, almost 100 of whom remain missing. What do you make of this latest development, BK? Rabike, are you there? Okay, I think we're having a connectivity issue with BKO. We just heard his voice now, and that's to tell you that anything about network can happen in Nigeria, not only in Nigeria, as long as it's based on connectivity, it can always happen. But all the same, that's the topic we'll be discussing today, and we would like you to send in your comments, just the normal way we do it, but make sure that your comments come with your names, proper names, not pseudonyms or nom de plume. Biko, you're back. Did you get my question?
Yes, I said that after a head count conducted in the school in the aftermath of the invasion of the school by bandits, it was discovered that 100 of their primary school pupils were taken away, and 187 of the secondary school students were taken away, which means that 287 students were kidnapped. Of course, that is bigger than the number of students kidnapped during the attack on the school in Chibok, Borno South. So increasingly, we are seeing bandits targeting schools be a big head. So increasingly, people's emotions will run wild when they hear that school children have been taken away by bandits. So that is why these terrorists and bandits target school children, deliberately target school children to them, and they will be able to bargain in a hard-nosed manner. They believe that once they kidnap students, it is the best way to draw the attention of the government, which will be prepared to pay hefty ransoms. So that's why they've always targeted schools. Remember the federal government college students in Kebbi State, that they kidnapped in Saboyi Aorio. What's the name of the community again? And the students were with them for almost 2 years. A ransom was being paid
Because I think we're having a bit of a network glitch with Bikeo. He's also tying back to incidents that happened in some of the students that were kidnapped in the last administration before they were able to.
So what happened in Kaduna is particularly, if you remember, Kaduna had.
Right, Bikeo, are you there?
Yes, the Baptist Convention paid up to 100 million in ransom before they succeeded in getting the students of Bethel Baptist College, Kaduna, 121 of them released. So they are deliberately targeting schools because they know that once people hear that students have been kidnapped, their blood will burn, and they will looking for a way to get those students out. As we were talking about Kaduna, at about 1 a.m. today, students of Sanga School in Gada local government area of Sokoto State, about 15 of them were kidnapped at 1 a.m. today in Sokoto State. The bandits had invaded the community, and as they were leaving, they saw some of the children rushing back into their rooms. They descended on those students and took them away. On Friday, in Briningwari community, Briningwari local government area of Kaduna, bandits attacked the Jumat mosque and killed away a good number of worshippers. So this made it clear that they are not even interested whether talking about churches, mosque, northern Nigeria. This is what we see. And it's been difficult for the military to descend on that area and try to save the children because there is no network in that whole of in that whole area. There's no network at all. You can't use your phone to cover the. They could not file their stories until they got to the state capital. So in a situation like this where bandits operate in largely ungoverned areas, a vast expanse of ungoverned territory where you cannot use your phone, how does the military, how does the armed forces respond promptly to try to save people? So they know these limitations and they carefully choose places where they attack because they know that they would long have gone before the armed forces can attempt any form of rescue of the children who have been kidnapped. Secondly, the closest military outpost to that community is about 35 kilometers away. And with this community located along the road to Briningwari, which is one of the most dangerous local governments in our country, I would have expected that schools located in that area will have been shot because this is what they've done in Borno State. Since the Chibok affair, all of the schools located in dangerous communities have been shot and the students moved to the state capital. For example, there was a federal government college, federal government girls college in Monguno local government area of Borno State. But that school has been relocated to the state capital to forestall the possibility of Boko Haram attacking the school, because Monguno local government, only one town is safe, and that is Monguno itself. Outside of Monguno town, there is no town in the whole of Monguno local government where people are staying. People are not resident in any town in that local government, outside the local government headquarters, which is Monguno town. Out of Monguno town, by about 10 kilometers, you're on your own. So it made sense to relocate the school, and that is what the government has done. They relocated the school to Borno State. So I will expect that bandits and terrorists continue to focus on school children. In fact, as at August 2023, 1,680 applications by bandits. So I would expect that in communities where we cannot guarantee the safety of children, of teachers, of students, those schools in those areas should be relocated to safe areas. There's no point risking the lives of children and teachers. There's no point. It makes absolutely no sense. So I expect the Kaduna state government to have shut that school and moved it to that is what has been done in some states. In Katsina, many schools have been shut because you cannot guarantee the safety of the children. And where we are complaining of out of school children syndrome, this sort of incidents worsen the out of school children syndrome, because some of these children, even if they are eventually rescued from these bandits, terrorists, who need to pay ransom for their release, they will not be interested in going to school anymore. So this is the thing. And then in Borno, the one that I found also shocking was the incident in Borno State. 60 women who came out of the IDP camp to fetch firewood were said to have been marched straight into Boko Haram camp. The governor of the state has said what happened is not willingly opted to go relocate camp. You will recall that some of the IDPs complained and that in that way they will be forced to relocate to the bush to go and reunite with Boko Haram. And of course, the governor was very angry because he said he had done his best. No governor had provided succor for displaced persons the way he has done. So he just couldn't understand why they've chosen not to be appreciative, and they've decided to protest. In Mafa, which is the adopted hometown of the governor, for example, the governor said many people accuse him of favoring Mafa unduly. Well, yeah, the Mafa people protesting that the IDPs from Mafa protesting that they were not being looked after the right way and that they would leave for the bush. So this attack in Kaduna happened about 7:45 a.m. just when teachers were registering, were signing the register and preparing for the day's work.
That's right.
It's fortunate situation, more fortunate situation, but clearly to us is that we need to do a lot more to defeat bandits and terrorists in our country. They have seen this as a line of business that they should not give up on. And for that reason, we have to be careful. We need to work hard as a nation.
That's right.
To defeat banditry in our country, because it is Kaduna today. We don't know where next they are going to show up.
Right.
And it is Gamborungala, close to the Cameroon border and Borno, settle next. These people will strike. But there has to be vigilance on the part of state governments. There has to be sustained efforts to improve in the area of intelligence gathering so that we can be ready, we can be one step ahead of the bandits and the terrorists. Right now,
recording in progress.
Right now, we are not doing well at all.
Recording stopped.
We've got to do our best to defeat these bandits and terrorists.
Right, Bikio, can you hear me? Bikio, can you hear me? All right, Bikio, talking about the former Minister of Education, Fani-Kayode, alleged that the recent attacks and abductions in Nigeria are being coordinated by forces both within and outside the country. He also claimed that abductions were an attempt to destabilize Nigeria and undermine the government. Do you agree with him?
It is possible, because people can't understand why suddenly we are seeing all these attacks that were not happening some months back. It's possible that some undesirable elements were using these laws to make the nation ungovernable. We've seen that happen in the past. Fifth columnists cannot surprise, and I will not say that it is impossible to try to undermine government with all these terrorists and the rest of them. But whatever be the case, we have to we have to show that we are one step ahead. We have to show that we are ready to defeat these bandits at their game. We really have to double our efforts. We cannot defeat the states. It is shameful that they continue to exploit the weaknesses in the system to kidnap our people, kidnap our children who are in school, to kidnap our people on the highways. You've seen what they did to some corps members who are traveling for their area of primary assignment. We need to do a lot more. Motorized patrols on our highways. Put as many vehicles as
Vicky, are you there?
Possible on the highway to conduct motorized.
Vicky, are you there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Vicky, confirm if you can hear me. Looks like we're having a connectivity issue we're having. The audio seems to be somewhat dragging, and we lost some part of what you said momentarily. Most part of what you said, we could hear that. So let me confirm if you can hear me now, Bikio. Are you still there, Bikio? All right, we've got some comments here. Famoroti Omotayo says, Dr. JIDE tell federal government to recruit more personnel into immigration and customs services. My last experience at one of our borderlands was bad. There are foreign bandits I saw with my naked eyes. Biko, are you back? Great. So I just read Famoroti's comment. It says, tell federal government to, yeah, we got what you said actually. We actually got what you said. We got what you said before the network glitch, happened. We actually got, most part of what you said. So I just feel like we need to take some of these comments and then we carry on with your analysis. Famariti says, JIDE, tell federal government to recruit more personnel into immigration and customs services. My last experience at one of our borderlands was bad. There are foreign bandits I saw with my naked eyes. Nelson Adefe says, they passed through the entire open routes with no better vehicle like that of military, and they escaped in the very eyes of their, on their own. On their foot. Someone should tell us the truth who is behind this nonsense. TJ Associate says, why is BKO still using bandits instead of terrorists? And Ibrahim Yahya says, the level of this insecurity is so uncalled for. We always give excuses, government after government. Enough is enough, please. They should free the students and those kidnapped in Borno. But the question I want to put to you, why you address why we should probably still maintain the nomenclature of bandits or terrorists. But the question is, the United States government has condemned the abduction of scores of school children and women in Kaduna State, and they promised the federal government to help in recovering some of this or rescuing the kidnapped victims. Do we have a history of foreign interventions helping us rescuing kidnapped victims?
Well, we can benefit from support, technical support. Way of not how to help us deal with this, but helping us. It's not as if they are going to see through the use of through equipment that they can provide, through training that they can.
Vicky, are you back? I think the network is just going to show us the other side of the experience we're having, currently in the country. But I believe that we'll have BKO back as soon as possible. Keep sending your comments, and so we can take them. And let me look at one or two here. This is Felix Luke says, this is what we get in a lawless country where terrorists operate hours without security presence. Honestly, I weep for this country, Nigeria. Marvin Odita says, when will Tinubu grant media interviews? Truman, BKO, you're back. BKO, can you hear me? Hello, BKO. BKO, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, so carry on. We lost you momentarily, and we just have you back. So we need to pick it up from where you left off.
So what I said is that we shouldn't expect that the Americans will come down to Nigeria and put boots on ground, put their soldiers on ground, for their soldiers to help us comb our bushes for terrorists and bandits. What they can do for us is to provide the intelligence that we need and the game-changing equipment that we need to help us locate the whereabouts of these terrorists and bring them to justice. So this is where I'm convinced that they can be of help. And Nigeria should not reject help in areas where it is where it needs support. Nigeria should not reject help of any kind. So this is how I feel about this. We have been under attack from these bandits for too long, and we got to work harder as a country to defeat the threat that they constitute. The government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu must realize at this stage that security is failing in our country, and the government needs to sit up and figure out the right tactics, the right methods to adopt to defeat insecurity in our country. We can't have a situation in which non-state actors will be holding us to ransom the way the bandits are holding us to ransom.
So, very quickly,
Very quickly, we saw on it was televised just lately, and then before you even came on air for this show, you also mentioned the issue of the attack in some other parts of the country, for instance, Sokoto and some other places where we had these terrorists going into mosques, killing at least 2 people and also kidnapping others. Sokoto also just launched Forest Guard. We just launched them, about 2,600 of them. What do you think this would help? How far-reaching do you think this will help in stemming the tide of insecurity in some parts of the north? And do you feel that this should be replicated, and the legal issues that will delay the passing of this through the National Assembly? How are you viewing this? What are your worries over this?
I am not excited about the forming of vigilance groups. Vigilance groups, especially in northern Nigeria, the vigilance groups do not stand a chance against these bandits, because these bandits take on the military sometimes. They launch ambushes on the military and they kill soldiers. So how do we expect vigilance groups that are not well armed to stand up against people carrying AK-47, AK-49, and general purpose machine guns, and even rocket-propelled grenades? A grenade is a tank buster. It is used to destroy armored tanks. But we see terrorists and bandits in our country use the grenade directly on human beings. You can imagine using something meant to destroy armored tanks on human beings. That is why in the recent, they do not stand a chance against these bandits and terrorists. So what I want to see is for the state police, for the state governors and the presidency to expedite work on state police, arm the state police, use the law to arm the state police with the kind of weapons that will give them a chance against bandits and terrorists. So this is what I do not get excited. The other day, they killed about 60 of the newly recruited vigilance corps in Zamfara State. They went to attack the camp of some bandits in Zurumi local government. They paid with their lives. That's not what we want to see, because they are just not. They are just not up to it against those guys. So let's have state police, but the state police personnel must be well armed, must have the kind of weapons that will ensure that bandits cannot take them for granted, that gives them a chance of victory against bandits and terrorists. That's what I want to see.
That's right. I think we're actually out of time. Nelson Adefe says there is no shame in accepting help of all kinds, which will not later cause another threat to the country. Security has been failing since the time of President Obasanjo, not blaming anyone, but someone needs to fix it. And that should be President Bola Tinubu, hopefully. But because of our time, we need to call it a wrap, Bikio. We need to also allow you to do the assignment, finish your assignment in Abuja. That's our show for today's edition of Issues with JIDE. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses, as always.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Hopefully, I'm back in Lagos tomorrow to continue my work.
That's right. We'll be happy to receive you in sound health. And thank you to our audience company on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG. I'm also have at Ibrahim TVC News. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.